Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is so important, but honestly, it gets ignored way too often. It's what you do after you've rolled out the solution. This is where the real work begins, and we're going to show you how to absolutely nail it. So, you did it. You put in the work, you came up with the brilliant fix, you launched it, and that feeling of relief, it just washes right over you. The project's over, time to kick back and move on to the next thing. Right? Well, hang on a second. It's super tempting to think that way, but we gotta ask, did the solution really work? Or does it just look like it's working? Even worse, what if that fix ends up creating a whole new set of problems you didn't even see coming? This moment right here, after the launch, is where you find out if you've really succeeded. Because you see, hitting launch isn't the finish line. It's actually more like the starting gun for the next race. This is that crucial phase where you have to go beyond just deploying the fix and really verify that what you built actually solves the problem for good. This quote right here, it just nails it. This is really the core of what it means to be a pro. It's the difference between just, checking a box and actually owning the result. It's about sticking around to watch, to measure, and to tweak things, to make those little corrections that turn a pretty good solution into an absolutely great one. So how do you actually do that? Well, you don't have to guess. We've got a really practical 5-step playbook to walk you through it. Think of this as your game plan for making sure your hard work pays off. Okay, so here's our roadmap. It's 5 simple steps. We start by defining what success even looks like. Then we test the heck out of our solution. Then we make sure it won't cause problems down the road. And finally, we learn from it all and, we take the credit. To make this all feel real, we're going to follow a travel company that used this exact playbook. First things first, define success. Look, vague goals like, we want more sales, are basically useless. Our travel company didn't do that. They got specific. They wanted to increase sales by 12%. Now that is a target you can actually aim for and measure. Success isn't just about making a problem go away, it's about hitting a clear, objective goal. So once you know your goal, it's time to test your solution. And what's the best way to do that? You've got to think about the worst case scenario. Now, this isn't about being negative or pessimistic. It's about being a strategic realist. You're actively trying to break your own solution so you can find the weak spots and make them stronger. And this is so important. It's one thing to do a quick check and see if things look okay on the surface. But real verification, that means you have to stress the system. For our travel company, seeing sales go up 12% is great, but that's not the whole story. What if the costs of running all those new tours completely wiped out the new profits? You see? You have to dig way deeper than that first surface level win. Okay, so your solution passed the stress test. Awesome! Now the goal is to make sure it lasts. You've got to avoid future problems. This means thinking long-term. You need to document what you did so others can learn from it. And, critically, you have to train other people. You can't be the only person who knows how it all works. That just makes you a bottleneck. The real goal is to build something that outlasts your involvement. And that brings us to our final 2 steps, which are all about closing the loop. First, you learn what went right, what went wrong. You take those lessons and make the whole organization smarter. And second, you take credit. Now, this isn't about being arrogant. It's about professionally communicating the value you delivered. It's about telling your boss and your team, hey, here's what we accomplished. All right, we have the playbook. Now let's talk about adding a power tool to your toolkit. This is something that can seriously level up your verification game, especially when you're juggling a ton of different information. It's called a mashup. Think about our travel company again. So they're tracking sales, which is great. But we all know other things affect sales, right? What if there's a huge local festival that's driving up tourism? Or what if it's pouring rain all week and nobody wants to go on a tour? How could they see all of that stuff in one single place? Well, the answer is a mashup. And it does exactly what it sounds like. It's like a data smoothie. It takes information from totally different places, like your internal sales reports, a public calendar of events, and a weather forecast, and it mashes it all together into one view.
All of a sudden, you can spot connections you never would have seen before.
And you have absolutely used mashups, probably without even thinking about it. You know that interactive map on a store's website showing all its locations? That's a mashup of their address list and a map service. Or when you buy something online and it instantly approves your credit card, that's the store system mashed up with the bank system. They pull different tools together to give you one seamless experience. And how does all this info usually get displayed? In a dashboard. It's just like the dashboard in your car that gives you a quick graphical summary of your speed, your fuel, everything you need to know at a glance. A business dashboard does the same thing, using mashups to pull everything together so you can see how things are really going.
Okay, we've gone through the playbook, and we've talked about a pretty cool power tool. Now, let's bring this all home. Let's talk about how you can actually apply this stuff to your own challenges.
So if you only take one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. Your job isn't just to solve the problem. That's only part of it. The real mark of an expert is to go further, to verify your work, to learn from what happened, and to constantly improve. It's a cycle.
So let me ask you a question, and I want you to really think about it. What's one decision on your plate right now, at work or at home? Maybe it's a project, a new job, a big purchase. How could you use this verification playbook to make a stronger, more bulletproof decision? And we'll end on this one last thought. When you follow this process and you get that win, own it. Take credit for what you did. But just as important, share that credit with every single person who helped you get there. That's how you build a reputation, not just as someone who solves problems, but as a real leader. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.